Hi, welcome to Bark Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about The Secret Skin by Wendy Wagner. The Secret Skin is a gothic novella set in Prohibition out in coastal Oregon. It's really wonderful gothic. It's got all of those classic gothic elements, those rot at the core of the family, an angry house, the interplay of wealth and the burden of being a member of a prominent family. It's got queer desire, powerful, needful lesbianism, and just all sorts of, a spooky child, all sorts of those good gothic things. One of the things that I thought really stood out about this novella is the really powerful sense of place. We like a lot of Prohibition-era things here on Bark Bookshelf. Big surprise. It's one of those, periods that looms large in the heart of American cocktail culture. So we've seen things like comeuppance served cold, I can speak today, or here The Secret Skin, or Absinthe by Brendan P. Belcourt. And I enjoy this. It's a wonderful period. It's a period where we're reckoning with the rise of the 20th century. We are reckoning with our relationship to cocktails, to spirits, to alcohol. We are building a lot of the sort of classic cocktail culture, even as we sort of end up with this very different relationship with intoxicants by the end of the Prohibition period. And it's just, all in all, it's an incredibly evocative period. And The Secret Skin takes that to an even more evocative place in the specificity of this coastal Oregon wealthy home, talking about timber, talking about the region's unfortunate history of racial injustice and racial prejudice, and the specificity of that, the West Coast experience of the opium trade at the time, the really wonderful interplay of the cities of Portland alongside the more rural but rarefied space of the mansion house. And all in all, it's a good old spooky tale in that true gothic fashion where you're not quite sure if there is something supernatural happening. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. The gothic living in that ambiguity is something that I really enjoy. It's not the sort of Scooby-Doo thing where you get your rug pulled out from underneath of you and it's like, oh, well, it wasn't all along. No, here we have that maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. And that is something that I really enjoy as a sort of inflection point of tension. It's a really nice, quick read. If you're looking for something that's going to chill you, we've got a spooky child, as I said, and make you think and give you a bit of a chill, it's going to be a great gothic here for your spooky season. And so, of course, we had to have a drink. Our drink today is the Storm Break. It's taking its name from that mansion house that sort of forms the nexus of our events here in The Secret Skin. And we're going to start with some bourbon whiskey. In part because we do see some whiskey in the book, but also because it's one of those that's close to home. And for me, bourbon is home. I'm using the Agitator bourbon today, so we certainly see a fair amount of agitation in our novella. And then we're going to get, so we'll get 1.5 ounces of that bourbon whiskey. Then we'll get 1/2 ounce of Islay Scotch using that Ardbeg 10-year that we like for this real punch of like smokiness, brininess, this island coastal feeling. Oh, it's really heady. As soon as I open up the bottle, I'm like, I am on a coast somewhere, drenched in fog, with that like creosote tree smell all around me. Just wonderfully evocative. And then we'll get, as our sweetener, 3/4 of an ounce of grenadine, classic pomegranate grenadine. You should really make it yourself. I've got a recipe for it in my cocktail book, Cocktails and Consoles. It's a pomegranate syrup scented with orange blossom and rose water. See roses in a rose garden form a really important part of the landscape architecture of Stormbreak House. And so we want that wonderful floral rosiness in there as well, while bringing a bit of that rich red sweetness and that fruity dark brightness to our cocktail. Finally, we're going to add a couple of dashes of lavender bitters. June Vogel, the main character of our story, uses a sort of lavender soap. She and her brother have a scaly skin affliction that they've dealt with since their childhood. And one of the ways that she addresses that as she's separated and come back home is changing up her soap regimen. And as always, we see this recurring overlap of lavender and lesbianism, lavender marriages, this association of the lavender scent with homosexuality in 20th century America. And so we got our lavender bitters. We'll just crank that on in there. 3 or 4 dashes, as always with bitters. Easy to add more, hard to add less. But you do want to add a good amount of the lavender bitters to this one, just because some of our other ingredients, like that Islay Scotch, are so intense. You want that lavender to be able to hold its own and to bring its unique floral quality to our Stormbreak. All right, got all of our liquid ingredients in there. We'll add our ice, beautiful, and give this a stir. You want to give it a nice stir for about 15 or so seconds. I'm using fridge ice today because I'm a bozo and did not fill my ice trays. And this is what happens when you have really warm weekends. But we'll stir that a little less than we do when we have like the dense cubes of ice from a silicone mold, because this ice is less dense and it's going to melt faster. Get our handy dandy julep strainer, get that in our mixing glass, and strain into a stout cocktail glass. Beautiful. Perfect. And there you have it. This is the Stormbreak inspired by The Secret Skin. The Secret Skin is available now from Neon Hemlock, one of our favorite small presses here at Barcart Bookshelf. It's a really great novella, one that I had a lot of fun with. Perfect for getting into that Halloween, October, sort of spirit. I think it's one that y'all will really enjoy as well. It's definitely very much in keeping with a lot of the books that we love here on Barcart Bookshelf in the very best way. We really, really love a gothic here. And so we've got a link to snag it in the description down below. We've got links to various forms of social media, including Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, where there's always a written version of today's recipe. There's also a link to snag my cocktail book, Cocktails and Consoles, 75 cocktails and mocktails inspired by the wonderful world of video games. It's been out since September. It's a wonderful holiday gift. I think y'all are really going to have a lot of fun with that too. And it's got the recipe for our grenadine, so it's a really easy reference on that. Please hit the like button. It makes me so, so happy when you do. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we've got some really great books coming to round out our October and to head into the end of the year. So you don't want to miss a single episode. Until next time, cheers.